Brooke Baldwin.
Oh, hello.
Very
Good morning.
nice to see you all. Did nothing but watch TV in the 70s and 1980s. Really feels like we lost a member of the family. Florence Henderson, who played Carol Brady on The Brady Bunch, she has died.
We are now hearing from Hollywood celebrities and fans talking about this loss after learning the news that Florence Henderson passed away overnight at the age of 82. Boris Sanchez is with us now with a look at the defining moments of her incredible career, from her small-town roots in Indiana through stage and screen.
She will certainly be missed. We're learning from her manager that she passed away last night at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles of heart failure. She was surrounded by her 4 children, and in some way, we're all her children, and we'll definitely miss this lovely, lovely lady.
Here's the story of a lovely lady.
Florence Henderson captured hearts across America as one of the most beloved TV moms, Carol Brady.
You'll find out it's good.
Her career would forever be defined by her character on the 1970s sitcom The Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch.
I created the kind of mother that I wished I'd had, and I think that everyone longs for.
Taking on the role was something Henderson embraced.
And everybody wants a hug from me.
Yeah.
And I hug everybody.
And in the decades following the show, Henderson never shied away from the limelight, returning to her iconic Carol Brady for multiple spin-offs of The Brady Bunch. But even before she became a Brady, Henderson seemed destined for show business.
I don't ever remember not singing. And I would sing and pass the hat, and I'd sing for groceries.
Henderson's career took off at the age of 19 on Broadway, and she landed a leading role in Oklahoma in 1951. Becoming a bona fide star on stage, her TV career progressed as she became NBC's Today Girl in 1959, and she broke barriers as the first woman to guest host The Tonight Show for Johnny Carson in 1962. Henderson earned her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1996. And recently danced her way back into the spotlight on Dancing with the...
I want to be loved by you alone.
Variety's reporting that she was actually at Dancing with the Stars on Monday supporting her Brady Bunch co-star Maureen McCormick, who later tweeted out this photograph of the two together, writing, "You are in my heart forever, Florence," and then going on to say that Florence was a dear friend for so very many years and in my heart forever. Love and hugs to her family. I'll miss you dearly. Tom Bergeron also sending out a tweet with a picture of the two, saying, "Heartbroken, I'll miss you, my friend." And really what's most touching about listening to her talk there was saying that she wanted to play the mom that she wanted to have. When you think about her background, very humble beginnings. She grew up with a single parent who struggled with alcoholism. So you have to think that playing that icon, that mother that everyone wants, meant a lot to her.
It meant a lot to a lot of people.
So great.
Yeah.
Boris, thank you.
Joining us now by phone is former Today Show host Joe Today with Florence Henderson back in 9 minute you woke up. So thanks so much for joining us. And I'm wondering if you can just give us your reflections on your friend.
Well, good morning, and yes, I'm home with my 2- and 4-year-old, and I was out of the news loop because of the holiday, and the first I heard of it was when your producer called me a couple of minutes ago, so I'm, on the one hand, shocked because she always seemed so young to me, even though I knew her when she was well into her 70s when we did the show together on NBC, but I also grew up watching her. You know, the word iconic gets overused these days, but I watched the Brady Bunch. Maybe it was in reruns by the time I was watching it, but then when I had the chance to co-host a show with her, it was a little bit surreal to be then working with someone who was like burned into your childhood memory as a TV star, and she was very maternal to the people that she worked with also. And I don't have to tell you guys, the TV business is not necessarily full of genuine, humble people, but Florence was the real deal. Everything I ever knew about her was exactly what you saw when you watched her on TV. She was not a phony. She was recognized by everyone. We shot promos once and they dropped us off in the middle of Times Square, and they were trying to shout Brady, Mother Brady, in every accent from all of the four corners of the world, because she was one of the most recognizable faces in the world. And she was so warm and kind, and she had so much patience with every single one of them. We were there for hours.
I love that, and I also love, when you talk about authenticity. What was she like when the cameras weren't on?
She was really the same. I know that might sound like a made-up show business anecdote, but she's probably the only person I can think of who is literally, maybe one or two others, but who is literally exactly the same. But she also had a little bit of a Hollywood throwback aspect to her, which I also found charming and instructive. We don't think of that much these days, but even though she was obviously a survivor and tough to get because of her upbringing and surviving, and she was a Broadway star and she was a TV star, she managed to work it, girl, all those years. But she still, when she was, no matter how early the call was, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., she was there. Already made up when she showed up.
Oh, God. Obviously, so identified with one role, so identified with Carol Brady. She had that is how people know her. How did she deal with that? Because at least publicly, from what we saw, she seemed to have a sense of humor about it, almost a self-deprecating attitude to the fact that was the one thing people associated her with.
She did not take it for granted, and maybe it was because of her humble beginnings, but she would get so much fan mail, like the emails, and people would help her with email because this was in the late 90s, but that I mostly knew her. But, snail mail, she would answer every single one of them with a signed 8x10 glossy.
Wow.
I'm sure it took her a lot of time every week, but she never neglected her fans because
Our Times this morning, apparently she was asked in 1999, how she would like to be remembered, and the quote is this: probably someone who survived for a long time in a very tough business and hopefully managed to retain a sense of humanity. Do you have one quick story for us, Jody?
Let's see. This sounds weird, but we went out to this event where they roll out new shows in Pasadena every year. The networks, when they're debuting a new show, they put on a big dog and pony show for TV critics and writers and so forth. So we were all out there at some fancy event with her, and some of the gals on the show decided, hey, let's use the sauna after. And we showed up to use the sauna, and again, Florence showed up with beautifully made up, her perfectly done hair and everything. And she was, still looked better in her towel. Around her than most of the women half her age, and she had stories about Frank Sinatra and Johnny Carson, because she was, as I could tell, she was just mellow.
Florence Henderson passing away. Jody Applegate, thanks so much.
Thank you, Jody.
And really appreciate your stories.
Good morning. Take care.
I know, and poor Jody Applegate, we called her, woke her up with this news. So many people waking up to the news this morning that Florence Henderson has died. All right, it is Black Friday, which means sales. The frenzy is on. Retailers hoping the next 4 weeks to huge profits while shoppers trying to get the best bargains. We're covering this from every angle. CNN's Allison Cossack live.
Every single it's outside Macy's flagship store in New York City. Early bird shoppers taking over entire departments in search of steep discounts. It's that time of year when all-out chaos ensues over jumbo-sized TVs. And shoppers battle it out over who gets the biggest deals. This excited crowd caught clamoring over electronics at a Walmart in Columbus, Mississippi, even though Walmart is trying to reduce the brawls by handing out wristbands to a limited number of customers for hot items and increasing staffing. Still, across the country, retailers Portland, standing in the rain for hours.
I'm soaking wet and I'm still here.
Foregoing Thanksgiving dinner to flood the aisles in search of big-ticket items, ready with cash in hand. The National Retail Federation says holiday sales this year are expected to top $650 billion, a 3.6% increase from 2015. And on Cyber Monday, at least 36% of consumers plan to nab their deals online. And some of the other top sellers, these life-size Star Wars and Ninja Turtle items. We've got clothing here. That seems to be going pretty quickly as well. My personal favorite, got to get this in, is the robotic vacuum. God, you know, I hate vacuuming myself. How about letting this thing loose in your house and just taking a seat on the couch? That's my idea of cleaning. Brooke, back to you.
I'm with you.
Yeah, until it takes over. Until it takes over. Have you ever seen Westworld?
My life?
Until the vacuum cleaner gets a mind of its own, then it's not so funny.
I'm still okay with it.
Right.
Joining us now, the CEO and president of the National Retail Federation, Matt Boucher, and CNN chief business correspondent, anchor of Early Start, Christine Romans. Vacuums aside, Matt, let me just begin with you. You know, if I'm one of those people and I believe in Black Friday and the deals, you know, what are the top 2-3 items I really should grab?
So I think the big things are going to be the categories that they often are. So apparel is very big, electronics. Lots of people buy gift cards this time of year, and lots of people do self-gifting. So there's this phenomenon of sort of one for me, two for you, kind of, so you make sure you buy something for yourself while you're buying things for other people.
Or two for me and one for you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's not going to make you. But the thing is, so Black Friday, today is Black Friday, but it's expanded over many days. It's expanded into digital, and now, you know, Amazon is just killing it in some way.
And Amazon just released its Cyber Monday deal, 74,000 products on sale, like Nerf guns half off, Nerf stuff half off, and those big TVs, those Samsung 4K TVs, $249.99. The Samsung 4K, the 4K TVs, these big monster 50-inch TVs, these are the big item. That's what you're seeing, Allison, there at that at that Target. Those were just flying off the shelves last night. They're selling just thousands of these every second. So that's the electronic category. That's the big deal this morning.
So be to a store in person that feels so 2015.
Well, there are plenty of great deals, of course, and there are some deals that you're only going to get if you go to that store at that particular time. But I think the real reason people go is because of the experience. And it's an experience you can't get in a one-dimensional way. And you can do it with other people. And that's one thing you can't do on a phone.
Half of Americans will go shopping over the weekend. Half of everybody in this country will go shopping. This is a national holiday, consumerism, spending money,
people
no
flooding
question.
Into 16,000 in a Macy's.
But we have these new choices now, and yes, some people do like the experience, and some people do not. And you now can go into the store armed with an awful lot of information. You know, you can know where the other sales are, where you can find this cheaper. I mean, you got Macy's, JCPenney, a store called Stage. These are the ones with the best deals today, according to our folks.
How good is of a good deal? I mean, what kind of deals should we look for?
We're looking at the best deals I've seen are 65% off. Those are the very best.
That's a big number.
That's a big number. Be careful that it is really 65% off the retail price, that they haven't maybe crept up the price. But there are some really deep discounts there, and mostly on electronics. But you're also seeing Lego sets right now, for example. And a lot of these, what I would call a mall retailer, but a lot of these retailers, Lego sets, electric scooters. These are another thing. There are good deals on those right now.
You're also saying what not to do. On days like today, do not open.
Yeah, don't open a store card today. This is not the day to do that. When you look at your credit score, these can be a ding to your credit score. They are also just a temptation that you don't need, right? Don't overspend. There are going to be a lot of end caps and doorbusters and, you know, $19.99 women's shoes. Buy 5 pairs of those, you're $100 over your budget already.
Wait, we don't need 5 pairs?
You don't actually need 5 pairs of shoes.
Do you need 5 pairs?
But you know, be careful because you want to make sure that you can spend. You want to make sure you can pay this off by the end of January, or you're just hurting yourself.
You mentioned gift cards, which is something people often give. What are people
about when you buy the card and how you handle it and making sure that you keep track of it, and people are well aware that you're walking around with cash. I mean, if you lose that or it gets stolen or it gets misplaced, you're out of that.
There are legitimate places to cash those to cash those in for cash, by the way, and sometimes, you know, it's maybe 80 cents on the dollar or even less. But make sure if you're going to cash those in for cash. Trade them in for cash, you are using a reputable site.
Okay.
Guys?
Christina, Matt, thank you.
Thank you
Very much.
Happy Black Friday.
Happy consumerism, everybody.
Trump supporters, they don't think that Mitt Romney's the guy for Secretary of State. We have more on President-elect's busy working holiday.